Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Nathan Drinker, and I'm Jay Wise. Thanks for spending some of your time with us. We're on Anchor, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, so many other podcasting platforms. You can find us in the video format at the A Drink of Wisdom YouTube channel. Check us out everywhere. Like, listen, share, subscribe. We appreciate it. Drink, as always, great to be here with you.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, how everything going over there in the Wise household?
It's great. Illinois, Nebraska play today, so I couldn't be more excited for that.
Listen, I know I hear the hint of sarcasm, but truth be told, that's our marquee game. I am excited about having college football back. So with that said, another day, another dollar. We got to give the streets what they need. And we see what they don't. We're going to say what they want. Hey, set the plates because it's time to eat. And last but not least, let's talk some sports, baby. Let's roll, Jay.
Sarcasm. Why? Whatever do you mean? In episode 73, the NFL Network puts out a list, ESPN puts out power rankings, and the Big 12 looks to expand. We're going to start with some NFL preseason action from last night where the Kansas City Chiefs hosted the Minnesota Vikings. Final score was a Chiefs win 28-25. They finished preseason 3-0. The Vikings, conversely, 0-3. Patrick Mahomes had a pretty nice performance. He was 8 for 9, 117 yards, tossed 2 touchdowns, including a beautiful one of them seeds down the right sideline to Tyreek Hill, 35 yards. The Chiefs led 14-3 after Patrick Mahomes' first 2 drives. Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, 5 for 7, 57 yards. Not terrible, but not particularly great. So, Drink, feel free to touch on all the great action last night as much as you want. But what do you see for the upcoming regular season for both of these teams?
Well, as you say, the devil is in the details, and you said great. So let's start with Patrick Mahomes because that was a great part of this game. Hey, listen. At the end of the day, right? So we look at preseason and we say, hey, we're gonna use preseason as a barometer to tell us, to give us insight on what we think these teams gonna look like during the regular season. But here's the deal: what we've seen out of Kansas City is what we've been seeing out of Kansas City for like the last 3 to 4 years. High powered, straight to the point. Come talk to me. And what we've seen out of the Vikings was what we've been seeing out of the Vikings for at least the last 2 years. Just not enough. Just not enough out of the Vikings. Kirk Cousins or the defense or Zimmerman. I don't know who you blame for this, but we just don't see enough out of the Vikings anymore. It is what it is. Call it how you call it. But Kansas City did their thing last night. Now, to the regular season, hey, Kansas City sure look like they a little upset about how the season ended last year. Patrick Mahomes seemed like he's focused. Tyreek Hill looked at focus. Travis Kelce looked at focus. Andy Reid looked a little slimmer on the sideline. I like it. It seemed like it seems like Kansas City is coming out here with a renewed focus. And hey, for all intents and purposes, we might get a rematch this year. But I like what I saw. And then over to the Vikings, man. Listen, I hate to say this, but no, I don't hate to say this. Kirk Cousins just ain't it. What are we doing here? Why are we still messing around with Kirk Cousins? I thought, Stephon Diggs departing the team would have been enough for Zimmerman to realize I gotta do something here. But you're gonna come and run it back with Kirk Cousins. And not only that, you sign him for a new contract right after one of your star receivers made it clear that this dude is not the guy. Now I got it. Justin Jefferson, he came in and he was a good replacement for Stephon Diggs, and the kid is the goods. Like he is good. Where the hell is Kirk Cousins gonna take you? Somebody please tell me, cause I don't know. And then your defense ain't the defense it once was, where you can put a paper clip back there and the defense can do enough to get you the dub. It's Dalvin Cook. And then the defense, and then this guy that's quarterbacking. I don't know. I don't know what the Vikings got. I mean, I'm totally confused. So if I'm forecasting the season, this is not a good look for the Vikings. Not in your division. Yeah, no, I mean, man, y'all looking real rough. I mean, I'm liking the Bears. I'm liking what I'm seeing with the Bears more than what I'm seeing with the Vikings. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. And this product ain't gonna get it done against Green Bay, even with Aaron Rodgers being distracted. So I don't know. I don't know what they got going on, but I'm not impressed with this Vikings team as a whole. I'm just not. But like I said, Kansas City seemed to be a team that looks like they lost the Super Bowl in the fashion that they lost the Super Bowl in. Came back, rehabilitated all those weaknesses, and they was firing on all cylinders. So I don't see no reason why I can't confidently say right now that Kansas City will be the representation of the AFC division, because the AFC conference. I'm sorry, the AFC conference. So with that said, that's pretty much the outlook I got for both of these teams going into week 1.
Yeah, I don't see it pretty much the same. First to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes in his first 2 preseason games, I don't think I got a chance to watch either one of them, but the numbers were kind of not like Patrick Mahomes. He was 11 of 20, 83 yards, and I believe it 1 interception. But definitely things turned around last night. He was sharp, moving around the pocket, outside the pocket, throwing the football from different arm angles. He looked completely in rhythm. His second touchdown pass, I mean, if I want to nitpick, I was like, don't throw the tight end to your backup's feet, but give Blake Bell credit. He reached down, get in there, and that's kind of what it is. But the first touchdown pass was absolutely, just sensational. Tyreek Hill just blowing Bashaud Breeland away. Not very nice considering they were teammates past couple seasons. But that's what Tyreek Hill does. But look, the Chiefs are who they are. They're the back-to-back AFC champions, Super Bowl champion 2 years ago. I don't know if either one of us anticipated them to be dominated the way they were physically, especially against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we know what happened in that game. But I mean, regardless, they're still going to be a force to be reckoned with. I still look at them and say like their offense should have no problem scoring points. I think it's what it's going to come down for them is does their defense get enough stops? And there are some things to like about that defense. When we know about Chris Jones, we know about Tyrann Mathieu. I think a guy perhaps to watch out for this season is L'Jarius Sneed at the cornerback position. That's a guy we should probably pay attention to. But I think that's going to be the difference. Like, can they get enough stops? If their defense can rise to the occasion, I see no reason to why they shouldn't, be able to be back in the Super Bowl. But on the other side with the Minnesota Vikings, this is a team, especially last year. It kind of shows us that when you have a quarterback who, to be quite honest with you, I'm not a believer in Kirk Cousins. I don't know how many people outside of, just maybe delusional fans are a believer in Kirk Cousins. But when you have a quarterback that you necessarily, who is not a franchise quarterback, then your recipe for winning is normally you have to surround him with a fantastic supporting cast. And I think in years past, Minnesota, like their roster has been very, very good and could like prop up Kirk Cousins to a certain extent. Last year, not so. Last year, the defense kind of came crumbling down. They lost a lot of veterans, free agency type thing. We talked about Everson Griffin, who is back now, by the way. But guys like Xavier Rhodes, Sendejo, the list goes on and on. I think another defensive lineman I'm missing. But you understand what I'm saying. The secondary got a lot younger last year. We talked about some of these cornerbacks coming in there. Now you don't have Anthony Harris anymore. He went over to the Eagles. So, but offensively, they still have a lot of talent. If I can throw you a running back and 2 wide receivers, you should probably have some difficulty coming up with a better trio than Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen. That's a great trifecta of players, and yet it wasn't quite good enough last season. Right? They opened up 1-5, so they put themselves way too far behind the 8 ball. Even though they came back, ended up being 6-6 at one point, and then they lose 3 more games in a row. The point is, I'm uncertain if this defense can get back to elite status this season under Mike Zimmer. I'm not sure if there's enough there. And with that in mind, I don't know. I think you got to look at guys. I mean, I like Mike Zimmer. I think he's a really good coach, but I don't know if if he has quite the cards. I mean, something's got to give for Minnesota. Either your defense comes back and plays, at a top 10 level, or Kirk Cousins got to show us something that he ain't shown us before. Maybe play at a top 10 level outside of the fantasy numbers. I think Kirk Cousins, he's a guy that he can put up fantasy numbers for you. But as far as translating them into wins, I think we've seen enough of it. But Minnesota, as you say, they just extended him last year. So I don't necessarily know what that's about, but I would tell you the general manager Rick Spielman, we can't be doing 7-9 no more. Like 7-9 with this group of guys, especially that trio of offensive weapons I just laid out at you, there really ain't no excuse. And with that being said, you know how it is. I mean, Mike Zimmer could be the first guy to fall, and that's a shame because I think Mike Zimmer's a really good coach. But as far as expectations, I think for people that want to keep their jobs, and especially in this expanded playoff format, Minnesota might want to figure out a way to get into the wild card round. And as far as Kansas City, I mean, you know what it is. They should barring catastrophic injury or something crazy, they definitely got what it takes to get in the Super Bowl, and at bare minimum, they should run the AFC West again.